I have officially lost 30 pounds, and most of it came from straight fat. And I'm gonna tell you guys how I lost it, what I did, tips and tricks to help you. This past 2 months has been so life-changing for me because I realized how much consistency and hard work does actually pay off. Oh my gosh, hey y'all. This is so strange to be making a YouTube video. YouTube was like my first social media love, and now I'm like all over TikTok, and now I'm like, hey, y'all gonna take me back? Welcome to my channel, JadaNecole, where we talk about all things beauty, self-care, and lifestyle, baby. I've been posting consistently on TikTok pretty much every day. I've been doing my thing, but honestly, I feel like my attention span is getting a little bit too short for TikTok. I want to go back to the nostalgic YouTube vibes of actually getting to know people, talking for more than a minute, not just hopping on trends, actually giving your own piece, your own advice, your life stories. Let's bring that back. Can we please bring back some humanity? Like, I feel like TikTok has desensitized us in a way because nobody can pay attention anymore. I used to be a YouTube girl. I used to be able to watch a YouTube video for 45 minutes. A 45-minute vlog, I will be tuned in like clockwork. Nowadays, if the video isn't catching me in 3 seconds, I'm scrolling. Like, no, I need to undo. I don't have my phone. Like, recording on a camera is so different, but I'm happy that I feel a little bit uncomfortable, because when you are uncomfortable, that's how you know you are growing. I don't really know if anybody's gonna watch. I don't really care if anybody's gonna watch. I'm just gonna be posting consistently and see what consistency gets me. And this is not medical advice. Just because it worked for me does not mean it's gonna work for you, but I can share for you what worked for me. But before we get into the video, if you can please give this video a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. You know, it's important to have a sense of community. Without community, we wouldn't get anywhere. So if you guys can do me the favor, I will return the like and the subscribe. Let's get into the video. Number one thing that I did the past 2 months that helped me lose 30 pounds, and let me just say most of it was just fat. I'm gonna insert here my fat in pounds when I first started and my fat in pounds now. So I've lost pretty much 30 pounds of fat. It doesn't matter how motivated you are, it doesn't matter how passionate you are about something. If you don't have discipline, you will pretty much fail at anything. Because at the end of the day, if you are disciplined with something, it doesn't matter if you're unmotivated, it doesn't matter if you don't want to do it, you will end up doing it. If you prove to yourself that you can do hard things and you actually accomplish your goals, you learn to trust yourself. So the next time you set a goal, you know, hey, I'm gonna make that goal. And that's exactly what happened to me with this weight loss journey. So the first thing that I did the past 2 months is cut out alcohol. Guys, when I tell you, I felt like I was living in a constant state of delirium because I was over consuming alcohol. I cut out alcohol the past 2 months. I've noticed that my facial bloating has gone down. I am not groggy in the morning. My energy levels are way higher. I don't crave nearly half of the crap that I was craving before. Just cutting off alcohol has been a complete game changer for me. One thing that was really hard for me is when I went for me and my coworker's birthday. We all went to dinner and just kind of went and had a vibe, and I didn't drink. That was like the first social event that I did not drink at, and I was very proud of myself. And I actually realized that I don't need to drink to have a good time. So many things happen when you change your mindset and you actually have the discipline. Because what could have happened if I didn't have the discipline was I could have just been like, you know, it's just one night, I'll just have that drink. But no. If you tell yourself no, let your no be your no and your yes be your yes. If no is not your no and your yes is not your yes, you will not believe anybody else's yes or no because you can't even believe yourself. That was something that I really had to learn. That was an eye-opener for me. But to keep it short, cut out the alcohol. The second thing that I did is try to hit 10,000 steps a day. This is not easy for me because I don't like to leave the house for real, but I try to find ways to incorporate walking. Like, so if I'm at work, I try to stand up a little bit more. I try to go help. Like, when I'm at work and I help the girls in the front, that's how I get my steps, because them girls be running back and forth. So that's one way I get my steps. Any way to get your steps in, if you do at least 10,000 steps a day, you will already notice a change in your body. Number 3, and guys, these are not revolutionary tips. The main thing about this is truly your mindset. You can do all of these things, but if your mindset isn't there and you don't have that discipline, nothing is going to work. So if you take one thing out of this video, is to be consistent and find some sort of discipline that works for you. Now that we got that out the way, step 3 is I didn't completely cut out my carbs, but I definitely limited my carbs. For me personally, carbs do not work for me. Like, I get tired after I eat carbs. I get super bloated. I don't feel good. I actually feel like I can feel my heart beating more after I eat carbs, which tell me that my body's working really hard to break it down. So ever since I cut those down, game changer for me personally. I also read this book that you can diet based off of your blood type, and I'm A positive blood type. For me, a lot of carbs don't work for my blood type, so that was very interesting. If you guys are interested in reading that book, I think it's like Diet by Blood Type or something like that. So the fourth tip, which I actually should have put this as number 1, is fix your mental health first before you fix anything else in your life. If you already feel yourself spiraling, do not add something else to your life that's gonna potentially make you spiral more, because we're trying to get better. We're not trying to get down in the dumps, okay? So what I did is I watched a lot of podcasts and I watched a lot of videos about people who were talking about a healthy mindset. And when I started doing that, I started to realize that I started to change my point of view and actually receive a lot more positivity back into my life when I just changed the way that I view things. When we tell ourselves negative things, that's what we tend to believe, because our brains cannot differentiate between what's reality and what's fake. So what happens is when you're constantly feeding yourself negative emotions and negative words, your mind is going to believe that, you're going to embody that, you're going to feel that internally. So yeah, just make sure that you really have a tight grasp on your mental when you're making any change, because the fact that I had like a nice grasp of my mental before I made this change, I felt like made the process a lot easier. I wasn't so focused on the result as I was the journey. And that leads me to tip number 5. Don't focus on the end result. Just take it in little steps and little tasks. And when I did that, I found that it was way easier to come to terms, especially if you make, sorry, my kids are playing outside, so you're probably gonna hear that. But especially when you make little goals and you accomplish those little goals, it gives you more motivation to move on to your next goal. So much beauty in the journey. There's so much that I've learned in the journey that my judgment was just so clouded before that I never, okay, so nowadays people do not know delayed gratification. Nowadays it's so hard for people to know delayed gratification because everything is so quick and instant. Everybody wants instant gratification, that it's hard. So that's why it's important to just retrain our mind, retrain our thoughts. Whenever I would hear people talking about these like motivational things, I'll be like, okay, yeah, like, but now that I've lived it and I actually went through certain things and worked on myself internally, I noticed that a lot of the outward things just came along. My next suggestion would be find something that you like to do. Find something that you enjoy that you can be consistent with that is not eating. That would be something that I would do. I would eat when I'm bored. I'm just like, okay, I'm hungry. Scrolling through TikTok or Netflix. No, you need to find a new hobby, because when you're doing those things, your hands are free to grab here. No, we're not doing that. You need to find a hobby to replace those negative habits that you had. So if you like to do TikTok, if you like to do makeup, if you want to be a photographer, if you want to be a YouTuber, dedicate the time that you spent eating or spending money on food and dedicate that time and money to a hobby that you would like to do, and that will already make you lose weight because you're not ingesting so many calories. I tell you these things because I did it, and before I was being hard-headed and didn't want to do the work, and I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you, you are going to have to put in the work, and that just is what it is, but the end result is going to be so rewarding. My last tip would just be surround yourself with people who support your journey. If there is somebody who is in your life who is not going to support you, or you know that if you start your journey that person will drain you from accomplishing that journey, it ain't nothing, cut that out. Snip. At the end of the day, the only person that's living this life is you. And if you have to cut ties with certain people or set boundaries with people, then that's just what you're gonna have to do. And lastly, do everything with intention. I first heard this from one of my good friends, Allie. Instagram is Allie Nation. I will put it right here. So she's a dance instructor, and she taught her first step ballet class, and she kept saying, you need to do everything with intention. And when I tell you, I went to sleep thinking about the word intention. So you think of doing something with intention, that means you are doing something with a purpose. You are doing something with an intention to get a result or to get something out of it, correct? So when we do something, we should do everything we do with intention, because truly everything that we do, we are trying to get something out of. You know what I mean? If you are doing an exercise, muscle to memory, that is doing something with intention so that you can create a certain result. Because if you do certain exercises and you don't have the intention, you're not gonna get the result. The camera died. The first time it was a story, the second time the camera died. Okay, well, good thing I was done. If you guys made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the time that you took to watch the video. If you did get anything from this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, liked, comment, and shared. This is a journey, so I'll be trying to post every single week. I'm trying to be as consistent. Like I said, small goals. So I'm gonna tell myself 1 video a week for now and just see where the wind takes me.